Hey, my name is Mack. I'm here to just share my testimony of how I met Jesus and some of the things that have happened in my life before that moment, during it, and after. And I'll just start with that. So, my story is I grew up in church. I was raised in a Christian home. From a young age, I heard about Jesus. I knew like what it meant to have Jesus in your life. I saw evidence of that growing up in church. I mean, I had a very simplistic understanding, but I did know, even at age 6. At that point, all I knew was that I was trying to avoid, going to hell. Like, I was a place I did not want to go. It sounded like a really bad place for people to spend, all of forever, which in my little mind was just endless because I thought 5 minutes was really a long time. So, like, forever is really forever. And so that's what I did not want. So I even made a commitment to my pastor. I said, I want to be a Christian and I want to give my life to Jesus. And so I made a public declaration of that, in my church, and I got baptized, and that was a really good thing. Let's fast forward a little bit in time. A little later on, when I was in middle school, I had a friend that I kind of grew up with. I knew ever since like the second grade. He called me out. I was actually in 8th grade, and he said, "Hey, Will, don't you profess to be a Christian?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, you sure don't act like one." He basically said he thought I was a hypocrite, and those words really offended me, but I took them to heart, and I really thought about it, and I said, basically my actions don't reflect who I profess to be, and I really need a heart change. Like, there's a lot of things that can happen in your life when you commit to Christ, but until you actually make Jesus Lord of your life, you allow Him to come in and begin to change things in you, and not just live your life the way you want to live it. That's where the difference. That's where it starts to make a difference in your life. So I recommitted to Christ in 8th grade, and boy, I didn't know what I was in for. Like, I actually then felt a heart change, and I had a deeper understanding of who Jesus was. Not just something that I did from memory. Like, I just, even in my prayer life changed tremendously. I actually started speaking to God like I'm talking to you, like I'm talking to one of my friends. I actually started really pouring my heart out to God. And even during that time, God also began to put people on my path to kind of show me how to live. I had a real life example, even going into high school, people who actually professed Christ and actually lived it. Every single day they went out on our campus and just talked to people about Jesus, shared Christ with people. And that made a really deep impact on my life because I had never even seen anyone do that. Even though I grew up in the church, I was surprised. No one I knew ever actually talked about who Jesus was and the difference that He makes in people's lives. I don't know if they were really living a transformed life, but when I saw them do that, I really wanted that. I wanted to experience that. And I kind of I prayed to God, and I was just talking to God about it, and I was like, God, what does this mean? Like, I know I became a Christian, and it really means a lot to me. Like, what does it mean to you? How can my life be valuable to you? How can I be used by you? And I just kind of made a vow right there. And I said, God, I don't know what other people are doing, but just look at the example that I have before me. If I'm going to be professing to be a Christian, that I'm going to be sold out. Like, I'm going to give my all. Like, I want to lay it all out there. I want to be fully committed, wholehearted, so to speak. And so that's been kind of like a theme of just a lot of things that have been going on in my life. Like, if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to be all in, fully committed. Like, I don't want to just be half doing anything. I don't want to half-heartedly do it because I figure it's kind of a waste of time otherwise. So I really got a lot of good things happen for me in high school. I even began to share Christ with people. And it surprised some people because they just weren't used to seeing that, just like I was. And that carried me all the way through college. That same heart and that same attitude. It was just an attitude of excitement. Like, I wanted to live a life that was exciting and adventurous. I mean, it wouldn't be a life worth sharing if it wasn't fun. if it wasn't, you know, it wasn't amazing. And at the same time, I began to allow God to really transform my heart. That's something that definitely carried me into college, and I didn't realize just how deep my heart was, all the junk that was in it, all the things that I struggled with, and all the things that just really left wounds, just left me in a place of brokenness. And it just took me a long time to figure out all the pieces and stuff that was in there, all the junk that was in my heart. God began to deal with that to some extent in college, but even more so now, I'm still allowing Him to deal with some of that stuff. But I am slowly learning day by day as I grow closer to God and walk with God, really what wholeheartedness is. It's something that is worthy of pursuing, but really it's about allowing God to pursue you. As you walk with Christ, as you get to know who God is and His heart for you, you begin to see just more and more of yourself. He reveals Himself to you, but He also reveals you to yourself. It shows you like just all the junk, but He also shows you the good things. He also shows you the talents. He also shows you the abilities. He also shows you the things that you're called to and called for. He doesn't take every issue away at one time, but He does begin to work on things one by one, even as you can handle it. And believe me, I've been through that cycle of learning the same lesson over and over again until I get it. I'm just so gracious. I mean, I'm so thankful that God is patient, patient with me, just as I learn what this means to walk with Christ, to actually get in His Word and let Him work in my heart. I think the most important lesson that I've learned just in my Christian life is it's about letting God work in you and in your heart. Even the definition of wholeheartedness is changing for me. It's not always about like giving your all or doing this or doing that thing. It's really about letting God take all of you. Like, I mean, basically, when you're walking as a Christian and you're walking with God, you're allowing Him to work out this stuff in you so He can actually replace it with something better. God doesn't just take away your issues or deal with your junk. He actually gives you the fruit of His Spirit. He actually gives you love and joy and peace and kindness, gentleness, and faithfulness and self-control. And so those things begin to show up in your life, and those things begin to show up through your heart. And that's the actual thing that changes you. Like, those things become a part of your character, and they change who you are, so that you actually have a story to share, that you actually have a testimony to tell. That is what empowers you. That is what allows you to profess Christ. When you talk to people, they don't just hear your words, but actually see the change in you. And even as a model for evangelism, what I do is I really build relationship. If I have someone that I know and I can share the truth with them, and I could share it in love, and they actually see that change happen in me, then they're actually going to believe what I have to say. And that actually begins to just really prick their hearts and show them that this is what a Christian really is. I mean, it's definitely something that you model with your life. Like, you can't talk the talk and not walk the walk. So I would say, even for those Christians out there, be patient to know that God will work in you if you allow Him. But you're going to have to allow Him. Don't do like me for a while and kind of run away and come back. But, that's okay. Even so, if you find yourself running, you'll know that God is chasing after you, and He's going to find you, and He's going to help you, and He's going to mold you and shape you into who He desires you to be. It's definitely a glorious life. It's definitely a wonderful life. It's not an easy life, but it's a life that's worth it. It's a life that's worth pursuing. It's an adventurous life, and it's an exciting life. And I don't regret it at all. I mean, every single day, I see it day in, day out, all the things that happen and change in me, and the things that happen and change through me. And that's what the big deal is about. So anyway, thank you for allowing me to share my testimony with you.